everybody. I am here for my day 7 in this challenge. Happy St. Patrick's Day, even though I'm posting it after St. Patrick's Day. Reverse loves for St. Patrick's Day. I don't know too much about St. Patrick's Day actually, but I like to wear green, and I'm eating a family recipe of corned beef and cabbage, which is yummy. I actually meditated for like 2 hours in the bath today because my poor ankle has been hurting pretty bad, so I'm just been enjoying the bath and the relaxation and releasing. And I did some research today on the chakras, on the 7 chakra points that we have, and really focused on just feeling every part of my body and releasing all that energy, and it was pretty awesome. I did write a lot down actually. It was actually a good few hours of work that I was doing on myself. I think they call it shadow work. That's what I was trying to do. So I will talk through it with you guys, some of the stuff that I was writing down, and see what you think. Why is today, or this future that I have going on, scary or unknown? Because it feels totally new. It's nothing like my past life in full. Parts of it, and I have felt glimpses of it, but I've learned so much from lack and hardship. I am excited to take these lessons to the future I am building, creating, manifesting. I deserve a love that doesn't require me to disappear into it. Work that feels like purpose, not just survival. Rest that I don't have to earn. Community that knows the real me and stays anyways. Joy that isn't borrowed or conditional or fleeting. A version of life that actually fits who I am. Mornings that feel like possibility instead of weight. I stopped letting myself want these things because wanting them and not having them would hurt too much. But God hasn't stopped preparing them. He hasn't moved from the dream He placed in me. He didn't give up on me. He didn't give up on them before they arrived to Faith Street. His plan, His will, His gift. And the Faith Street was a video that I had seen too, that was talking, I think it was the game show host for Family Feud, and he was talking about how all of your prayers that you send out, all of these gifts, all these things, these amazing feelings that you have, they're heard and they're answered, and they come, but they come only to Faith Street. If you're over on, I'm not so sure about this street, or no way that could happen avenue, then it's not going to arrive anywhere except for Faith Street. But it'll still come eventually once you align with Faith Street. Which I think is a good message, and I was kind of what allowed me to sit in the space of all the things that I don't so much like about myself, or things that maybe are the subconscious things they say carry us into a lot of these lesser energies or frequencies. So I wrote out what are the darkest parts of me, and it turned out to be a long list of fears, which came up later on as fear is not part of God. So it's something that I can see, and I worked really hard to start integrating. It's something I gotta be doing every day and going over this, but I'll share some of it with you guys, because I feel like we all go through a lot of difficult times, some more than others, some in a different way than others. So a lot of you probably can relate to a lot of these feelings. Fear of need, fear of isolation, fear of no purpose, fear of circumstances always being lack, so how to grow abundance feels unrealistic. Fear of betrayal, fear of hunger or physical pain, exhausted of survival, sadness of comparison, fear of anger or overreaction. Needing help doesn't make me weak, it's human. God and my inner strength have always been my anchors. Asking for acceptance, help, support can create connection and opportunities, not only dependency. Deep connection is possible, even if it is rare. True bonds with people and God can provide a tether. Even when the world feels uncertain, isolation doesn't define my value or my capacity to love and be loved. My purpose doesn't have to be a grand mission to matter. Life itself, my presence, my reflection, my ability to care and communicate, these are purpose in action. God's plan may unfold slowly, but it is real. My experiences built resilience and resourcefulness. Circumstances can change. My past does not dictate my future. Abundance is possible, starting with small, consistent shifts and trusting God's provision. Which, for that one, I've had a lot of Psalms or Bible passages drawn to me to show just how much God loves us all and how much He loves us individually and how much He's watching. Trusting wisely, not blindly, allows meaningful relationships to grow. Past betrayals don't determine every interaction. My discernment and experience protect me while still leaving space for love. Because we can't expect the worst out of everybody all the time, and even if the worst does come from that person, we have support behind us and we'll get through whatever comes. I have survived hunger, discomfort, and emotional strain before. I am capable and resilient. Physical safety is important, but fear does not have to dictate my ability to live fully. My survival built endurance, wisdom, and compassion. I have proven I can handle hardship. This exhaustion can be a bridge to choosing self-care, abundance, and conscious living now. Anger itself is not wrong, it's information. What matters is how I channel it. I can acknowledge my anger without letting it control me, using it as motivation for change or setting boundaries. So for that list, I kind of just try to do like a counter really to each one of those different fears or feelings that I was having, things that I feel like maybe that's where my self-conscious hits me when I make decisions that I am not necessarily the most happy with, or when negative things happen in my circumstances, in my surroundings, people. I think those are a lot of the primary concerns that I have. And then I took time to do a reflection, a shadow truth, and a release integration statement for each one of those primary topics of need, isolation, purpose, permanent lack, betrayal, and fear of hunger or hurt, exhaustion of survival, and fear and anger overreaction. I'll do one of them as an example, and I think that I'll do sorry. I feel like it's a lot to read all of them to you guys, so I just didn't want to read all of them necessarily. Maybe I'll do exhaustion of survival, I think. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Exhaustion of survival was my number 7, and the reflection: this might be one of the heaviest shadow. Constant survival mode drains the soul. Can see traces of it in all of my other fears and shadows. Life has been unfair. That's the shadow truth. Life has been unfair, and I am tired of carrying it alone. The release and integration. I see part of me that is deeply tired. I have carried survival for years. I thank it for keeping me alive, but I give myself permission to seek ease, peace, and joy without guilt. Because ultimately I feel like all of those fears, all of the abandonment, all of the struggles that I went through, all of that, if you sift it down like a gold strainer in the water, and once you get all that dirt out, the biggest gem that's part of it is survival, the lack of survival, the survival mentality, a mindset that they're of expectation of this stuff to happen and happen and happen some more, you know. And now with more reflection on what's really happened, and seeing the hands that were on me that helped me to get through all those different things, and interacting in a way now where I'm attracting new and totally different, and I'm shaping myself in a way to receive that. The next part was the light self, strength that grew out of the wound. So this would be me. I literally wrote the fear of need, and then I crossed a line through it with an arrow, and I put strength and interdependence. So I intentionally transmuted in a way, or replaced one fear with a positive light attribute. So fear of need became strength and interdependence. I understand the value of support and provision because I have lived without it. When I choose to give or receive help, it comes from genuine humility and gratitude. I am capable of standing on my own, but I am also open to building strong mutual support with others. True strength includes connection. And I think that's been such a hard lesson, connection, trusting people, putting yourself out there to be a part of the community, of the village, of the world, of all of us brothers and sisters around the world. Fear of isolation, deep capacity for connection. Because I have felt loneliness, I notice when others feel unseen. I instinctively listen and try to understand people from many walks of life. I have the ability to see and hear people deeply, and my presence can create connection where others feel alone. I deeply resonated with that for a long time. I was working as a mechanic for a good number of years, an aircraft mechanic actually, and I can understand like the physics behind how it works and the mechanisms behind how it works, but I was never very passionate about that. I was more passionate about helping out my coworkers and connecting with people as much as I could. So that's what I'm stepping into. I'm leaning into that now. Number 3, fear of no purpose, canceled out to natural communicator and guide. In reflection, I'm reflective, curious about meaning, and able to talk about life honestly. Those are qualities of people who naturally guide conversations about purpose, spirituality, and growth. My life experience allows me to help others think about their own purpose and path, which I feel like is a delicate balance sometimes. You know, everyone has a difficult time, everyone has a hard past, and sometimes people will pull it out to play like the one-up game, like, oh, well, you went through that, well, guess what I went through, so you shouldn't even feel bad about that. No, it's more of like a, you know, I can understand how you might have been feeling in that circumstance, because this is what I had went through, and this is how it resonated with me, and what I kind of did or worked on to get past that thing. You know what I'm saying? Number 4, fear of lack, resourcefulness. I know how to stretch resources, adapt, and survive situations that overwhelm many people. That ability to navigate hardship is a real form of intelligence. I have proven that I can create stability even in difficult conditions. My resilience allows me to build something stronger over time. And that is kind of one of the main, you know, what would bring a lot of abundance, resourcefulness. I can stretch what I have. I'm grateful for what I have. I'm grateful for everything that I have, when I have less and when I have more, when it's difficult and when it's easy, when I feel seen or when I feel isolated. I've always had food in my fridge for the most part. I mean, I've experienced some time when I hadn't, but a lot of that, I'm looking back now, I feel like was pride, you know, not wanting to allow others to help, trying to do it all on my own, trying to take control of everything. We can't always be responsible to be in control of everything, you know. Sometimes it's relieving to release some of that responsibility up, and once you start to see and understand and appreciate how much the energies, how much the world, how much God, how much our past, how much support we really have around us, it's a lot easier to kind of give in to those thoughts and the opposites of them and just sit with them. Number 5 was fear of betrayal, which is discernment. I read people well. I notice subtle signals of honesty or manipulation. That awareness protects me and helps me guide others. I trust my intuition about people. My past taught me wisdom, not just pain. 6. Fear of hunger or harm. Empathy for suffering. I understand physical and emotional hardship in a way that many people do not. This gives me compassion for people who are struggling. My experiences allow me to recognize pain in others and respond with compassion rather than judgment. See, it kind of ties back in with what I was saying about a couple minutes ago. They all kind of end up tying in together, really. Number 7, exhaustion of survival, endurance and grit. I've continued moving forward through years that would break many people. The endurance is rare. I have survived and grown through challenges. My endurance proves my strength. Which, that one I had some conflicting feelings about proving being the used word there, because I don't really have to prove my strength, I guess, not even really to myself. Because whether or not I acknowledge it, it's there, you know, and it's been shaped through a lot of these experiences that can oftentimes, just like a lot of other things, can be usually seen a lot easier from someone else outside looking in, you know what I'm saying? Number 8, fear of anger, strong moral compass. I care deeply about being kind, fair, and loving. My concern about hurting others shows a high level of emotional awareness. I choose patience, love, and understanding. My emotions guide me toward justice and compassion. I haven't only survived. I've learned things most people will never learn because life forced me to, which ultimately gifted me with 3 core things. Hold on, it's not usually so busy out here. I don't know what's going on. 3 core gifts: empathy and understanding of suffering, ability to communicate and listen deeply, spiritual reflection and searching for meaning, which I feel like all of us have that inside of us if we give it space. A lot of times it's just scary because of a lot of these other reasons on here, you know, of vulnerability, of lack, of hurt, of betrayal, of isolation, all these scary, scary things. We deserve to be safely supported, you know. One of the primary wounds that I was healing from is that I feel sometimes often that I'm not safely supported. And that kind of came from family members leaving, you know, or friends, instability, moving, lack of constant foundation, not being able to rely on systems like money, authority, or people. I experienced hunger, struggle, and survival. So instead of thinking support can disappear, I have to depend on myself, which has been what brought me into the aviation field in the first place, because that makes money, you know, and we live in a world where money gets us places, you know? And that fed into the fear of need, the isolation, the lack, the survival. But if I change that into I'm learning how to create support step by step, as I am not alone as I once was, that allows me to feel like what I experienced happened, what I went through happened, and I did do it alone, and I am capable of doing it alone, but I don't have to do that anymore. None of us have to do that. And if we choose to see that, then it will make a big difference. And that's something that I'm going to have to remind myself every day when I feel those kind of feelings pop up. Number 2, I'm not fully safe to trust or open. How it formed was betrayal from family and past lovers, cheating, lies, hurt, being taken advantage of, instability, emotional and physical, in relationships around me. If I am open fully, I could be hurt, left, or betrayed. Again, that's the betrayal, the isolation, the anger, the control, holding parts of me back, can't fully relax into love or connection. But if we change that, we can say, I can choose who earns access to me. I don't have to close myself off to stay safe. And that safe feeling, I've been working a lot, very hard on trying to recognize that feeling of safety, and it comes from within our nervous system, within our backs. We feel it, in the energy that's around us, and the tightness of our chest, and the pacing of our mind, our thoughts, and the literal shaking of our hands, and the tenseness in our neck and our back. All of that is signs from our nervous system that's connected to our brain. We're like these little vein alien creature things with a brain, and then some bunch of nerves that go down that wrap around our spine and connect all over the place to get all the signals from our body, right? So our body's absorbing all these things around us that we can see, and things that we can't see, things that we can only feel or just think we understand. And so safe, right? So when we're feeling unsafe, it's very clear. Our body knows what it's feeling, and it displays it, and whether or not we choose to listen to it. It took me a long time to try and listen to that actual thing, and in certain circumstances I even spoken it out directly, and it's kind of empowering to give it that recognition that it deserves for a minute, and then I felt like I had the strength to not have that same reaction anymore. I changed my feelings during that time. So that's a really powerful thing, if you can just sit and feel what your body is feeling and assess from there. That's a lot of information we take in during all of the different circumstances we face. Just take it in as information, take it as it comes. My next biggest wound was, why has life been so hard for me? That's where a lot of the comparison fears and the exhaustion and survival and betrayal. It's grief for the ease that I didn't get, the stability that I deserved, and the version of life that felt out of reach. But out of that, I chose to build connection and heal isolation. I sought meaning and find purpose. I show empathy, transforming pain into understanding, and I reflect deeply to gain self/world awareness. And then I just kind of went through and thought about some different other ways to explain it, the same things, the scarcity, the fear, the betrayal, and just finding different ways, playing with different wordings to recognize those feelings, recognize those hurts, and thank them for what that did for me to project me out to where I am today, what it did to bring me to who I am today. And then what I'm going to do now moving forward when I decide to put that thing in the back seat. It can stay in the car with me. I have a lot of stuff in the car. I have a lot of space in here. And I still have more to come, but I'm the driver now. That's why the song Incubus Drive came on the other day, and I've always loved that song, but I really like sat down and listened to it, and it's such a good song. And also, I can't put songs on here. I am new to this whole YouTube thing and copyrights, and so I can't put songs on here anymore, but I can tell you guys about it. And I initially planned to do that a lot. I wanted to, because that was one of the things that inspired me, and has been motivating me, is some songs that were recommended that I listened to that were really cool. I opened me up to a whole lot of new experiences with music. But so I plan to sprinkle some more of that in here somehow or another, but not through playing the song in the background like I was. Anyways, I feel like this shadow work that has been mentioned before and that many people go through, it's a big ego death. Definitely. It's definitely a big ripping off a band-aid, admitting to like how you could have caused a lot of different things, or your feelings might not have been fully acknowledged, or you could have done these different things. But you also get a chance to recognize how things just magically worked out, like in a movie, like how, like, it's just crazy how coincidentally these things could just line up so perfectly. And then if you give that coincidence a name or recognition, and give that to God, who's also within yourself, and give yourself permission to just figure it out one step at a time from here, trying to do our best. That's all the best that we can do. And that's what I hope for in my mind to move on today. That's what I'm going to keep thinking about. I have some new Bible verses that were brought to me to read, that were brought to my attention. I'm going to have to run in real quick and go grab them, because I wrote them down on a different notebook. So I got two, one that has old stuff, and then this one that's only just for this challenge. It's brand new, that doesn't have all my other crazy thoughts in my head. I just have to like write lists down. Like at nighttime, I can't watch TV before bed. I know there are a lot of people that can. I can listen to music sometimes, but I just like dark and quiet. But I just have to write stuff out before I lay down, because I just always have so much running in there. It's just better for me to get it out, and then I feel like I can process it little bits at a time after that. I may even write it down in my sleep, because I have such a hard time remembering my dreams, and I've been trying to pay attention now that I've been having dreams again lately. So but let me go get those real quick and I'll be right back. Alright, so those are going to be Mark 5, Deuteronomy 1 through 15, the book of Joshua, Hebrews 12, and the book of John, which are a lot of them, but that's what I'm called to read for a couple of days now. I'm just going to take my time reading it, but I just felt like sharing it with you guys. And thanks for tuning in again with me. We completed the first week out of 4. What? I missed a day. It's okay if you do too, if you don't go out. I can't right now with my ankle, but I will be here soon. Right now I'm just enjoying what's around me, and I think that's supposed to be some kind of lesson too. So smile, everybody. You are loved. I am loved. We are loved. And we are beautiful, and we're going to have an amazing day. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.